Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Divine Dojo. This is going to be a collective message for the full moon in Sagittarius, which is happening tonight or already. Like it was full. I think like at 1 o'clock in the morning. So depending on where you're at. It either is today for you or it happened like late, it apexed, late last night. So I am back. I moved from Los Angeles to Texas, which is a big deal since I have lived there my whole life. But I'm excited for this new chapter, and my astrology really needed me to get out of Los Angeles at least until after 2027. So here we are making big moves, and that's what this full moon in Sagittarius is all about for the collective. Jupiter is in Cancer, moved into Cancer on Monday, but Jupiter loves being in Cancer, and Jupiter is the sign of or the planet of expansion. And I can't stand astrologers that make it all, oh, Jupiter, everything's going to be great. No. Jupiter in Cancer can be like you stuck in a comfort zone and not making moves. And this is the time to make moves, just like I did. It doesn't mean you necessarily have to move states, but making big moves in your life, because there's no more comfort zone, no more staying in the comfort zone. As I've said in my previous videos, the world is going to get loud, and as we've noticed over the past weekend, with the immigration riots and everything happening here, at least in America. I mean, it's been happening in Europe for a while, the immigration riots and all of that, but it's happening here now in America, and especially where I lived in Los Angeles, so where a lot of Latinos live. So but I know I moved here, and literally the next day, somebody that my mom knows, was in their work was raided or whatever. So it's happening all over, and it's going to be happening. This, no matter where you are in the political spectrum, I should say, this is all planned. It's been planned for a long time. So you let them all in, to kick them all out, to create the problem and have the solution. So that's, I forget, it's not the Hillel dialect, but basically it's create the problem, and then, government creates the problem and then comes in and tries to create the solution or gives us the solution, but what is that solution really? Anyways, I don't want to get into that here. So let's talk about the full moon in Sagittarius. Great moon for setting the intentions, or like letting go of the comfort zone and making moves into, this week is intense. There's a lot of things going on. The world is just going to get more intense. So tonight, the full moon is, I'm just reading here, because I wrote down my aspects and the transits that are going on right now. So the full moon is in Sagittarius, but it is opposing the sun in Gemini, which, creates, obviously it's a full moon, strong emotions, can bring some revelations or give you some clarity on those moves that you need to make. If the job is sucking, you got to move from the job. If the family is sucking, you got to move from the family. If the city, if you're not if no doors are opening for you anymore, you got to, start thinking about what you can do to move, and make some big changes. It doesn't have to be big in the sense of like a drastic changes now, but it can be incremental steps to making those changes, because this week and next week, basically June, all of June is setting the tone for what's going to be set for, the foundation for the next, 20 years or whatever, which is a bigger aspect of Pluto and Aquarius, but that's a whole nother thing. All the planets work together. The closer planets move into more signs more frequently. The outer planets move into signs 20, 30, 12 years, what have you. So just like Jupiter in Cancer, the last time was in 12 years. So anyhow, so yeah, the moon is in Gemini. Mercury in Cancer is sextiling Venus in Taurus. So, you can have some good communication, heartfelt communication, try not to have it be heated conversations if you are having like some deep conversations, because the full moon can, bring up a lot of emotions. It is Sagittarius, so it's a little bit more detached, but Sagittarius is still emotional, and Jupiter's home is Sagittarius, so it's in Cancer, it's exalted in Cancer, but it also, it rules Sagittarius, so it's a good aspect, but there is tension for sure with the full moon always. So weird relationship stuffs can happen, and then tomorrow, June 12th, the moon enters Capricorn and trines Uranus and Taurus, but Mars is in Leo and it's squaring Uranus, so it's sparking some tension in there too. And it can create some unpredictable energy. So the last time we had that energy, that's when like the Trump assassination attempt happened. So, something to keep that in mind. So yeah, June 12th or 13th, the moon will be in Capricorn. June 15th, I'm just giving major aspects or transits. June 15th, the Jupiter in Cancer squares Saturn in Aries, which challenges us to make hard moves and changes. No more cruising, since this is the third square, and so no more comfort zone. Like Jupiter in Cancer, like I said, loves being in Cancer, but it's, loves the emotionality of Cancer, and there's no more of that. So it's the third square, and it's going to be pretty big. June 16, the moon trines Jupiter in Cancer, good intuition and a little bit of an emotional uplift in our energies. June 17th, Mars enters Virgo, moving out of Leo. So this will energize like work, daily habits, routines, your health. So all of this is for us to move into higher standards and higher vibrations. We got to level up into something new. This is partially the reason why I moved here to San Antonio, to be closer to family, because my Jupiter, I am having a Jupiter return in November, and so Jupiter in Cancer, I have it natally in my chart in the 7th house, so it has to deal with relationships and family and home and all of that. So it was time for me to level up in that vibration and like heal all the shit with my family, on my mom's side, my dad's side, all of this stuff, so that's what I'm here kind of stepping up and leveling up to do, so it'll probably be different for everybody, and not everybody has Jupiter in Cancer like I do in the 7th house. So what did I say? So June 17th, Mars enters Virgo. Yeah, so this week and all, like I said, all of June is about making the hard pivots that we need to do in life. The relationship sucks, you need to drop it. The job is not paying you enough, you need to find a way to like get paid more. I know that it's hard with the economy and stuff like that, but you have to figure out, maybe you become an entrepreneur, maybe you start working for yourself and start, creating that dream or that you always have been thinking about. It's uncomfortable. Everybody's uncomfortable right now. But the uncomfortable is where we need to move into. I'm not comfortable, being a 47 years old and moved in with my mom and her husband, like that's not comfortable for me. I'm not going to be here long, but for right now, until I create a foundation here, and they're being so kind as to let me land here in this home, I have to deal with it, right? You know, it's uncomfortable, but I'm here, you know, I'm here to try and level, you know, not level up that relationship, but just, you know, yeah, I'm not comfortable, especially being independent and on my own for a really long time. It's not a comfortable place for me. But either way, I'm doing it, you know, because it's just a lily pad. It's a little landing pad until I move on to, you know, my next place. So, the comfort zone is not, it's no longer gonna be great. It's not gonna be comfortable. What you want to move into the uncomfortable is what I'm saying. Otherwise, the universe is gonna give you a tower moment. Either you give yourself the tower moment, or the universe is gonna give it for you. So those are the transits for this week, including this full moon tonight. So, you know, decide what needs to go and take steps to, you know, creating the life that you want and moving out of your comfort zone and into uncomfortable spaces, and moving forward, you know. So I'm going to do the tarot for the collective, pull cards and get clarifiers, and then I'll go and do the sun signs individually. So let's just clear the energy. Thank you, Spirit, for presiding over this reading and giving me some clarity to help the collective through this week, June 11th through the 17th. Let me be clear. Let me be a good channel and give a clear and concise message for the collective for the week of June 11th through the 17th. Thank you. 3 of Cups. So here we are. Cancer energy. That flew out. I don't know if you saw it on camera, but 3 of Cups. Celebration. Friendship, collaboration. Yeah, you know, the time of the lone wolf, which I was 100%, is over, at least for a while, at least until after 2027 and up until 2027. The time for the being alone and being the lone wolf and being in your cave is not going to fly, not for these next couple of years, because the world is going to erupt into chaos, and because, you know, we're getting into we're getting into a new world, and it needs to, the old world, I mean, it's already collapsing, but, you know, these long held structures that we've been programmed into are not going to function anymore as they have been. So it's falling apart, you know, so it's going to be chaotic here for the next couple of years. So building community, you know, building, you know, people that you can be with during the hard times that we have coming. And this is not to scare any, you know, people. This is just the reality of what's coming, you know. To make a big change, you know, we're going to have to go through some shit. So yeah, community, celebration, collaboration, creativity, you know, try and tap, yeah, 10 of Wands. Here's the Sagittarius energy here. You know, the burden, the burdens of being in the comfort zone, of staying in the comfort. It's time to put those wands down, and like, if you're not happy, it's time to create your happiness and move and pivot and start creating and taking steps towards what you need to do to put these burdens back. You know, if people don't respect you, don't give them your time. If the world has gaslit us, right? Not the world, but, you know, governments or the people in charge have gaslit us so hard that most people don't even know who they are, you know? So put the burdens down and start pivoting, make some hard choices, and it's time to get uncomfortable and, you know, and step out of the comfort zone and put those burdens down and start making some changes that need to be made. You know what they are, you know, everybody, this is a collective reading. It's going to be different for everybody, but I knew that for me, Los Angeles wasn't working for me for a while now, you know, so it was time for me to go. This is the Nine of Pentacles. It did come out a little cockeyed, but I am going to take it in the upright. This is nice, you know, this is the Virgo energy that the moon is moving into after not the moon, Mars will be moving into Virgo on the 17th. You know, it's time to reap the rewards. If you have been doing the work before, you will be, you know, reaping the rewards. June is an amazing month. July is going to be even more intense and crazy. And then August as well, you know. So these 3 months are pivotal, but June especially is a pivotal month to make these changes and start creating that foundation of that new life, or, you know, that you want to create. So, but if you have been putting in the work and you have been doing the spiritual work, you know, you're going to be reaping the rewards of what you've, you know, what you've done. So I like that. This is beautiful. Sorry, I got a little bit, I don't know why. There was a crazy thunderstorm, and Callie, my dog, was like, I did not get much sleep. And, you know, thunderstorms are different here in Texas than in California. So, yeah, it was pretty loud. What else for the collective? A Six of Wands in the reverse. You know, this is like basically I like this because it's time to step up into a higher frequency, a higher vibration, and a higher self-worth, right? It's time to step into. So whatever doesn't honor you, whether it be job, person, place, or thing, doesn't honor you, doesn't honor the person that you truly are authentically, then you need to stop doing stuff like that. You know, you need to stop being around people that don't respect you or honor you. Because if it's like people don't take you for who you are, then it's like, move on. You know, you can't be gaslit. We can't be gaslit anymore by people, places, things, governments. You know, that is over. No more abuse. It's time to put the boundary down and really step into the self-worth of who you are, and make those pivots and changes to reflect that, you know. And honor yourself. Look, Devil and the Hierophant when I split the deck. Yeah, it's time to get your confidence back. It's time to be recognized. It's time to be, it's time to achieve the goals and dreams that you have always wanted and that I have not. Whoa, that did a crazy. And so this is a Four of Wands reverse, Aries energy. So the Six of Wands, Leo energy, and the Aries energy reverse. Yeah, maybe you have been lacking some sort of support. Maybe there is no communication. Maybe there is some conflict at the home. Maybe you are transitioning. It's time to step into it fully. Like, you can't be doing anything like half-ass anymore. You know, and I'm not saying you have to like leap into the void, but you have to take steps into it right now, because that's what you're doing, is setting the foundations for the next 20 years of what your life is going to be looking like, at least for the next couple of years, for sure. Four of Wands reverse. Thank the devil, he came out, but he is in reverse. Yeah, so it's about releasing limiting beliefs, exploring, you know, exploring that dark side of yourself, the shadow side, working with your shadow side, you know, doing the shadow work, getting, yeah, here's the Eight of Pentacles, putting in that hard work right now. Be diligent in whatever it is that you need to step into. Being diligent, like for me, reading tarot and astrology, I'm gonna be, and my health, I'm gonna put all my focus and my diligence and hard work into it, because this is what I want to do, right? And my healing work and all of that. So that's what I'm focused on, you know. That's why I'm here, to give me a little breathing space to be able to, like, okay, make a plan and, you know, get myself situated and figure it out, right? And be diligent and put in the hard work. But you need to have the will, and it's time to let go of like resentments and things like that. Just like the old world is done, let it go. Let it go. What will come around, you can decide, you know, if people come around, you can decide if, you know, they're worth the time to put into. If new situations come up, you're going to decide as it comes up if it's worth the time to invest into. But now you need to focus and invest in yourself and in your goals and in your dreams. Like, and get out of the comfort zone, you know, like, oh, my life is okay. No. All right, so let's get some clarity on this. I like this. I mean, this is good for this week, for the collective. Oh, that flew out. Page of Swords. Yeah, it's time, like I was saying, it's time for new ideas, curiosity, like a thirst for new things, collaborating with new people, new community, creating community, new ways of communicating, you know, like I'm trying not to let my mom trigger me and, you know, and her ways, and, you know, she has her ways, she's set in her ways, and I'm not trying to change her, but I'm also trying to have her see, like, you know, a different perspective on things, right? So don't get in your head about things, just be in your heart. Whoa, that flew out. Yeah, Seven of Swords. Page of Swords. And then the Seven of Swords reverse. Yeah, no more of this shady, weird fucking energy, or, you know, shady ass people or conniving people. No more. If they're questionable, no more. Get them out of your life, you know. Yeah, no more deception, no more keeping secrets, none of that. And if you have secrets, it's time to come clean and deal with whatever those secrets are, right? And deal with the repercussions or whatever. So, yeah, Knight of Wands, you know, bringing some good energy, some passionate energy, taking inspired action, like I said, being fearless in this new pivot, in this, you know, putting yourself in an uncomfortable position to grow. Thank you. Yeah, Ace of Swords, it was reversed, but I am going to take it reversed. Yeah, you want to have inner clarity, and, you know, you don't want to have clouded judgment, or other people clouding your judgment, or other people naysaying you, or anything like that. A couple more cards, Spirit, and then, thank you. Yeah, the Three of Pentacles. So like I said, it's time to collaborate with people. Maybe new people are coming into your life. I know probably I'm going to have new people and old people come into my life, of course, because, you know, I have family on my father's side here. So, you know, they've reached out. I have yet to call back because I've just been so tired. Moving is exhausting. And especially when it's not like you don't have all your crap with you, you know, like I moved into a bedroom. So most of my stuff is in storage, but, you know, my room is big. So luckily there's that. Yeah, it's time to, you know, build on your dreams, collaborate with people, lean on people, get help from people. Like I said, the time of the lone wolf is done, and there's just, you know, that's not gonna fly for right now. You know, after 2027, you know, we'll see where the world is at. So, last couple of cards. Thank you, Spirit. Page of Cups. Emotionality, of course, is going to be, you know, your intuition. Page of Cups came up upright. And then the King of Wands in the reverse. Yeah, so you have to, you know, there's some creative opportunities, maybe some intuitive messages, possibilities, surprise. You know, that is like the dreamer card, the young energy. The pages are usually young energy. You know, and I think that's what we need to bring into our situation and into our life, that like energy, that vivaciousness, to create and achieve our goals and dreams, and make these hard pivots that we need to make in our lives, so we're not stuck in like a comfort zone. But, you know, be methodical and not impulsive. You know, I see that the Fool, like I said, it's not about jumping off the cliff, you know. It's about taking steps to creating a new foundation for this new world that we're heading into. So I just want to get some clarity. I want to just see what, this is great. This is great for this week, you guys. Whoa. I hope you all been well. I've missed coming online and doing tarot and, you know, giving people the aspects of the astrology of what's going on with transitions. What is the devil about? Choices. Making a choice, making a decision, making, you know, like I said, if the job is not working and you know you hate it and you need to leave, or start making a plan to leave, or start looking at other things that you can do. If, you know, the relationship sucks and you know, and you've been stuck and you're just like, oh, it's comfort. You know, a lot of people, misery loves company in a way, you know, and I'm not saying your relationship is miserable. What I'm saying is, you know, that there's more than, you know, either you confront the issues and try and change it and bring some life back into it, or, you know, change your perspective on things, or, you know, it's time to move on from that relationship. You know, you're not into it, you know, or like I gave that example for me, you know, like I knew the city wasn't, you know, where I was at, it just wasn't working for me, you know, and I'm like, all right, you know, I'm going to go and try something new, at least for a little while, and see what happens, changing the energy up, you know. I could have moved, you know, to a different apartment, but it wasn't about that. So it's about making some serious, hard choices and pivots and taking action steps. It's all about action. It's not about emotionality. These next couple of years, it's going to be air and fire energy. So the water and earth is like kind of fucked. So if you're really sensitive, I'm sorry, but you know, you have to find a way to deal with it in a positive way, you know, and get out of your comfort zone, and, you know, start being out in the world, because, you know, the lone wolf energy is just not going to work, at least not for next few years. So it's time to make decisions, and, you know, it's looking like there's a lot of collaboration opportunities here. Looks like a lot of happiness, but it needs to be a collaboration, you know, or new opportunities. You got to create new opportunities for yourself. Thank you. Why is the Seven of Swords here reverse? I mean, it is reverse, so I'd rather that. The World. The world is changing. You know, we need to go through this change, you know, and it might seem harsh, it might seem rough, you know, to those really sensitive people, you know, especially like the stuff that's going on with the immigration. Yeah, it's heartbreaking to see families, you know, being taken, and children, you know, it's fucked up. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it, right? And I'm so sorry, I'm starting to get itchy, you know, like I'm starting to get uncomfortable. So I'm gonna work through it and keep on rolling with it here. You know, this is Aquarius, Leo, Scorpio, Taurus energies. This is the fixed energies, you know. And but when you make these changes, because I asked what is the Seven of Swords here for? Well, the Seven of Swords is about, typically, you know, the guy is like running away with swords, and he's like kind of deceptive. He's kind of sketch dude, you know. No more of that. You know, the world is opening up, and it needs you to be your authentic and highest self out there. You know, put yourself out there and vibrate higher to a new level, you know, and get new self-worth. Because the world is opening up, and the world is changing drastically, dramatically. And also with AI, like if you're not gonna use AI, you're going to be left behind, unfortunately, you know. And so it's better to know and use AI instead of being deceived and mistreated by AI. If not mistreated, I guess is not the right word, or deceived by AI, and fooled by AI, right? Or an AI will, you know, people are like, oh, it's gonna take my jobs. Yeah, but what kind of job is it going to take? One that's probably sucky as hell, right? So it's never going to take over the human aspect. The humans are going to always want humans. You know, yes, there are those people that definitely want the Terminator vibes, you know, here on planet Earth. That's the lower parasitic energies. But it's up to us, right, to use AI to our benefit. So anyhow. And then we have the final cards are the Ace of Wands again, but this time upright. So yeah, it's, you know, once you open yourself up to this world energy, you know, you have a celebration, you have, you know, a victory coming in. And then this is great because it's like the Nine of Swords. Is it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of Swords? Sorry. I'm like, wait, what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes, the 8 of Swords. It is reversed. So, you know, you are not blind to this deceptive energy. And like I said, going back to AI, like if you don't use AI, you won't know that you're being deceived or fooled by AI, you know, because I can tell, like, oh shit, that's AI right now. And it's only going to get better, right, and more intense. So don't be fooled. Don't be deceived. Use your intuition this week. And don't fall for the chaos, you know, like I said, like I've said before, or most people who know me personally, you know, it's like, it's good to be informed and know what's going on in the world, and, you know, and be prepared too for yourself, for your safety, for things, you know, right? But to be drawn into the drama of like what's going on with the immigration, you know, that's what the parasitic energies want. They want you focused not on your goals and your dreams and the pivots that you need to make to create your beautiful life. They want you distracted and in a low vibe energy, you know, feeding into that negativity, feeding into that collective unconscious, I'm going to call it unconsciousness, and it's not that we don't have compassion or sympathy, you know, for what's going on as a spiritual worker. You absolutely do. But you also know the trap of like getting like involved, doom scrolling and watching the news 24/7. That's one thing that like I have to get used to here, is that they have the TV on all the time, and it's like, that's a big change for me. So I stick to myself and I create my reality here. I go and I commune with them and do my thing with them, and, you know, let them be them. And, but I don't, my energy doesn't focus on that. So, you know, maybe that will eventually trickle down to them. I don't know. I'm not here to change anybody. I'm just here to be myself and see what happens, you know, and maybe that will eventually trickle down to them and change them and show them that like that is not a good thing to have news on 24/7. It's like a succubus of energy that just like, ugh, it's negative, it's gross. But anyways, but like I said, but it's also good to be informed and know what's up, you know, because yeah, you don't want that shit coming to your town and then you don't know what's going on, and like, you know, there's fucking looting and rioting and stuff, you know, going on, and all of a sudden they're, you know, on your street or whatever. Anyhow, I digress. This is amazing energy. Like I said, for this week, if you can collaborate, if new opportunities come up, you know, I would say get out of your comfort zone. Like I signed up for a gym. I'm so excited. You don't even know. To, you know, get into classes and meet people and do things that I like. You know, I like it might not look like it right now because I'm a little, you know, but I usually love the gym and going to it. So I'm excited to, you know, meet new people at this new gym. So time to collaborate, time to pivot, time to get uncomfortable. You know, that is the best place to be. The comfortable right now, it's not good. So I'm just gonna pull a angel oracle card for the collective. This is going on long enough for the week of, there, thank you, Spirit. Romance. There was nothing about romance here, but, you know, romance yourself, romance your life, romance, you know, like dream about that, you know, that love, that life that you want. Definitely romance yourself, you know. I'm going to pull a Moonology card and an angel number card for the collective. And these cards are stiff. Oh, I hope everybody's doing well. I missed coming on, and I'm a little rusty. I'm not gonna lie, and I apologize for, you know, being gone. But yeah, Spirit, one clear message. Thank you. Third quarter moon, adjustments are required. That's what I've been saying. Get out of the comfort zone and start to pivot towards that life. I'll pull an angel number and then call it a day, I think, you guys. I'm so sorry. I'm like, am I gonna sneeze? Am I not gonna sneeze? What's going on here? Am I gonna sneeze? Oh, wait a minute. But yeah, whoa, what a change, man. Texas is hot as fucking 80s. You know, nothing like living by the marina, by the beach. You know, I thought it was gonna be more yellow and dry, but everything's pretty green. Apparently they've had a lot of rain, you know, the last thank you. They've had a lot of rain, so it's pretty lush and green. It's also humid, and I'm also being bit by mosquitoes because fucking mosquitoes love me. 1111 says, a wish come true. A lucky break is on the way. This could manifest as joyful news, transformative experiences, new opportunities. That's what this spread has been about, and collaborations, or an exciting new relationship. You'll find yourself in the right place at the perfect time. This isn't mere coincidence. It's a gift from fate. Embrace this blessing and be open to the wonderful changes it will bring into your life. You guys, I can't make this up. Spirit doesn't lie. This is all about like collaborating, teamwork, new opportunity, making changes, you know, putting in the hard work and creating the steps to exit, you know, out of whatever it is that is not making you happy, or is not working in your life right now, and start, you know, because like I said, we are creating this month in July and August, we're creating the foundation basically for the next 20 years. So, you know, but June is very, very, very big month for this. It's huge. So definitely use this week, use the transits, use the planets. They're here for a reason. Astrology does not lie. That's why I moved. So yeah, I love you guys. This was for the collective. And I'll see you guys next week. I hope you enjoy this week, the June 11th through the 17th. I'll see you guys next week. Love you. Bye. Where's my, oh.